Hello and welcome to Leash Dad's podcast. We are
The fuck does
Leash
your shirt
Dads.
say?
My shirt says Dunder Mifflin, but that is Justin.
That's Jared. Dunder Mifflin Jared.
We are two Leash Dads that get together to discuss our everyday lives while chained to our parental responsibilities. And tonight we thought we'd give you a little sneak peek. A sneak peek into the daily lives of millennial middle-class fathers.
Wow, that's oddly specific.
Well, you kind of
Millennial
have to be these
middle-class
days, you know?
Why do we have to be specific? Why can't we say, what about rich dads or poor dads or dumb fuck dads? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling that rich dads are a bit more different lifestyle.
Fair.
Just
Fair
saying.
Hey, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not saying, but he's just saying. Dude, look at this nasty hair.
You look good, man.
No, I don't. I look like a freaking scruffy McScruffer. I told Sam, I'm like, I need to shave. She's like, yeah, you do. You're getting very scruffy and everything. I'm like, yeah, I was trying something for Halloween. It's like, it worked.
She don't like the fuzz, huh?
No, she's not a fuzzy person.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a week's worth, whatever. But all women are different. Actually,
That's right.
I feel like a lot of women honestly like facial hair.
I think the percentage is like 75%, but I can't, don't quote me on that.
I'm not quoting you. I feel like it's a higher percentage than those that don't like facial hair.
Yeah. Well, you have a wife that wants you to shave all the time, and I have a wife that never lets me shave my face. So
yeah, it's all right. It'll be gone.
But I actually am going to get it really short when I have the time because I want to even it out and grow out it all for winter instead of just my chin and my cheeks. I want to get the
grow
neck
it
too.
all.
So,
You want to actually have like that nice long beard that comes down
Yep.
to your chest. So you have to even it out now?
I don't know if I'm going that far. Beard talk, gentlemen, beard talk. I don't know if I'm going that far per se because I've never done it before. I don't know how it's going to grow. I know that like there are certain areas of it that grow faster. So I'm constantly having to like trim it up in order for it to not look stupid. And every time I try to trim it up, I end up getting it crooked and just done.
Okay. So when you're trimming, it's not exactly looking pretty trimmed. It's like
I got pretty good.
Like you tried to be a barber, but you messed up.
Yeah. I got pretty good up until about a month and a half ago or whatever, and then that's when I screwed up, and then I had to take it off. But I also wanted to get the neck going.
So then, are you kind of gonna do what you did like during your wedding, which is like, oh my goodness, like 8-9 years ago now? Can you believe it?
Going on 8. No,
yeah.
No, I didn't have my neck bearded off.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Is are you gonna get rid of? Basically, you're gonna get rid of it all, but no, because you're gonna start somewhat fresh.
No, I'm just gonna take the wall razor with like the second to lowest setting and just get it all the same length and then let it grow. Because right now I did it like I did my wedding where I shaved my neck, so it's uneven.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. I understand. I also am one person that like, as much as the facial hair is one of those things, like if I let this all grow, it'd be very interesting. Like there's like a little soul patch right here.
Yeah.
But if I were to let it all grow, I would never be able to kiss my wife again. And I love the affection. But at the same time, it's always the first like few days or whatever that it comes in where it's very itchy and scratchy and whatnot that I just can't stand.
It's a pain in the ass.
It is. But after that, it's like all fine. I could let it grow. But again, as you mentioned, and as I mentioned, Sam does not like the facial hair.
Yeah.
Like I'll try to give her a kiss or anything like that, but it's more like a peck. So that is Beard Talk. Welcome to Beard Talk, where we get distracted from the millennials and middle-aged dad or middle household dads, right? just wanted to share that, just because it's like it looks terrible on camera for some odd reason.
It does not. That's just
Only
your
right.
opinion.
Okay, right under here it does. Okay, just because there's that gap. It's embarrassing. Actually, not. It's not that bad. It's really not. But yeah. So modern day dads. What's it like being modern day middle class millennial dads?
Well, I'll start. So obviously, it should change as the child grows up. So we could even probably do a mini series about that, but screw it. Let's just do it all, So for a dedicated group of dads like ourselves, the first year and a half are going to be very heavy in, feeding, changing diapers and everything else and keeping safe and whatnot, and car seats and strollers and what have you. So that takes all pretty much 90% of your time is just taking care of the child that can't do a lot for themselves. So your free time is non-existent, I would say. I mean, it's limited. So, let's say you have a 9 to 5, or you're working 40 plus hours a week. You're basically taking care of the child and working, and hopefully taking turns with your partner to balance that job of taking care of that needy child because they can't take care of themselves. That's the ideal world, right? And also, I do know that some kids do sleep. Mine don't sleep at all. So like I don't have a sleeping. I don't sleep anymore, and that's a thing for me at least. So since 2018, I have not had a good night's sleep, and so expect that. It. I feel like I'm the only one some days, so it's a possibility. Just keep that in mind. And then as I have not had to deal with childcare that much. Thank the Lord, because I wouldn't be able to afford it anyway. I do know that some parents, they have that extra step in their day to pick and drop off the child at daycare, and then it really ramps up the routine that we've talked about in the episodes before. The routine really ramps up when that child starts school, because at school they're on a routine, and so you really should be focusing on getting that routine in your house as well. Obviously not the same routine, but a different routine that works for you and your kids. So what inspired me to have this as a topic is that I am now so tightly wound in the schedule where I get up now at 7 o'clock in the morning with my wife and kids,
Lucky.
and I help with the lunch. I help with whatever they need to in the morning, and then maybe I have 20 minutes to half an hour to get ready for the day. Or otherwise, I'll just work in my pajamas until noon because I have that option. Thank the Lord. I love remote work, and so yeah, and then it's work. Take whatever lunch, how much ever I can take at that point, and then it's my wife goes to work after I'm done working, and then I cook dinner, and then I do dishes, homework, brush teeth or bath, bed,
Good routine.
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
And it's been almost more than a month, or exactly a month of school, and I'm kind of enjoying the schedule and not the insanity of the summer where it's all balls to the wall and everything's chaotic.
Mm-hmm. You
I
finally
love
get some
being
peace
able
and
to
quiet.
say
Well,
it's bedtime now at 8 o'clock because you have to get up early.
it's got to be nice, and I would agree. Like, I mean, you're sitting there, but it's also probably, since you're remote as well, you're probably enjoying the peace and quiet now at home with the kids in school, with the girls in school, right?
I'll enjoy it a hell of a lot more when Cora is in full day school.
Yeah.
Right now, she's only in afternoons.
But
So
even
it's
so,
like
I mean,
a 2 hour
afternoons.
window.
But even then, that's like a nice quiet afternoon for you.
Oh, I
Being
know.
able to get,
It's great.
yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I think truthfully, Carla was in afternoon half days, and Nico was in the morning half days. I actually like the morning time better, but I mean, that's just from two different experiences, right? Where my schedule was, when I was working remotely, my schedule was still kind of the same thing. Drop the kid off, go to work, take a break, go pick up my son, or something of that nature. Like for Arlo, it was okay. I took my lunch, dropped him off, time to go pick him up. I took my break, went to pick him up. Nico was, oh, I'm just gonna take a break, drop him off, take my lunch, pick him up. So I mean, one was Nico was fairly closer, where I could probably just take my breaks and everything to pick him up. But I was picking him up around lunchtime anyways, so I didn't really care.
Okay.
But Arlo, on the other hand, I had to drive 15 minutes to drop him off and then also pick him up. It was a pain because, truthfully, that 15 minutes becomes a half hour, and that, of transportation at that time when he was in that. So that was my entire lunch
Yeah.
of dropping him off and picking him up. And I normally, during those days where I had to do that, and knowing that Sam had to work or wasn't going to be able to pick him up in time, I had to, basically take only my breaks at the end of the day to go pick him up, just because of how far it was. Like, I would be
Yeah.
very cognizant. I was just taking potty breaks during that time before lunch or before I had to drop him
Right.
off and everything. But yeah, no, to your point here with the idea of everything, you're absolutely right. Obviously, when it comes to taking care of the little ones that are still learning the world, um, not necessarily able to be fully independent or be independent yet. Like my youngest, my daughter, she still relies on her parents
Yep.
quite heavily, right? She's becoming more of a pain, a cute
Of a
pain, but
lovely joy, not a pain.
the lovely. You're right, lovely joy. Don't be a pessimist, Justin. Don't be a pessimist. She's a lovely joy, lovely bundle of joy. Has her moments, but it's nonstop work, right?
Yeah.
I work 36 hours a week roughly, and then come home and still work. But Jared, you have a little better than I do in a sense where you can get up at 7 o'clock or whatever. I'm getting my ass up at 5:30.
Well, on Tuesdays I get up at 6, but yeah.
Okay, I'm still getting up at 5:30.
I know.
I'm getting up at 5:30, 5:40, whatever, getting myself out of bed, getting my kids ready, take them to their, get the routine going, take them to their respective place. Point being, we're sleep deprived. As a parent, you lose a lot of sleep, and it's always going to be that way. Like no matter, this does not matter of a modern day dad or anything like that. I would say any parent, any father at one point in their life having a young child probably lost a shit ton of sleep. Just like their significant other. Just like their significant other probably has lost a decent amount of sleep. And sleep you'll never get back. You may think you'll get it back, but you won't.
No. And you shouldn't try to make it up either, but I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to.
What can you make up? You can't make up sleep. Once you lose it, you lose it.
I know. Like, I used to think as a kid that, oh, yeah, I'll just make it up on Saturday or Sunday when I'm home and not at school. Nope, doesn't work like that. Now that hindsight being 2020, I was actually doing myself harm because I would not follow a sleep schedule. I would sleep until like 11 o'clock on weekends and then be dead to the world on Monday morning and Tuesday and Wednesday.
Always a problem. I know that.
Yep.
I recently went through that again here. As Jared knows, I had gone on a little trip down to Chicago to go
Chicago, Chi-Town.
I went to a concert, and this was about a week ago now, but I went to a concert and came back the very same day, or very night, sorry. The very next day, more or less, like very early morning, very night. Didn't get back home till 2:30.
Jesus, dude. Well, it makes sense, but yeah.
And then on top of that, I slept for 3 hours, only to get up, get my kids to school, or get them ready to go to school. So I went from 2:30, woke up at 5:30, 5:40, got my kids ready, got myself ready, went to work for a full day. Friday was my recovery day. But again, you can't really necessarily recover, but I got the sleep I needed to really help me out rather than being sleep deprived for X amount of hours. I'm
So
not
you
a
did
little
catch up.
kind of, right? I let my body do its job of resting. It's not necessarily
Who'd you
playing
see?
catch up. Chrissy Costanza and Voila. That's their tour is called Spin the Bottle Tour right now. Um, Chrissy, for those of you who may know Chrissy, she is the lead singer of Against the Current, but she's currently doing an experiment slash solo experimentation thing.
Oh,
She's just
Costanza.
Chrissy Costanza, yeah.
Costanza.
Okay, fine. You do humor me, and you hear how it's pronounced, and then yeah. But yeah,
No, I'm gonna say
so
Costanza.
God damn it, I hate you. I already hate you for that. But yeah, I went down to Chicago, came back that very, and on top of that, the worst thing about that was,
Hmm.
I mean, being a dad, being a dad nowadays. I think it's very hard to try to disconnect because even for the some time, I won't say I felt guilty about doing it, but it sucks when you miss your children.
Yeah, it does.
How often, Jared, do you miss if you were to do something? Or for example, that one time when you and Natalie came into Appleton area or whatever, you didn't bring the kids, right? You didn't bring your girls. You left them with grandma and grandpa for like your work outing or your work thing. I'm making him think, folks.
Yeah. It was a while ago, but yes, they were. I mean, I do miss. Here's the thing. I I miss them and my family more when it's just me alone. When it's me and my wife, that's our time to connect and be together and focus on each other. I don't necessarily spend a lot of my time missing the kids when it's just Natalie and I because, we have a rule kind of that this is our time. There's little to zero talk about children or any, you know, not depressing, but stressful subjects. We talk about them and stressful subjects enough when we're at home on our and doing our day to day stuff. When it's just us and we're like enjoying each other's company, we don't talk about that kind of stuff because
Mm.
we want to be in the moment and enjoy each other's love, really.
Well,
So to answer your question, I miss them a hell of a lot more when I'm alone by myself.
if you were to take like a little vacation from them or day, like a night away, for example, like I did, you'd miss them.
Oh hell yeah! Because when I went down to Schaumburg, Illinois, for a work event by myself, I was missing them like crazy. I wanted to go home after the event. I didn't want to go to the hotel. I wanted my
Yeah,
family.
no, that makes sense. I feel the same way. It's like, even though I know Sam was home taking care of him, it's like I just felt disconnected from him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, it's nice to have that alone time, that me time that we've talked about multiple times in other episodes as well. But as a dad, you are privileged to have those times. You shouldn't feel guilty, but it's okay. It's a valid reason I validate your reasoning or validate how you feel. Hopefully, and Jared's validating the reason or the
Oh hell yeah!
emotions of missing your children. It's okay to miss
Yeah.
them, but also it's okay to have that alone time. But being a dad in the modern age now, um, I say it's very. I guess I would almost say it's hard to judge because I wasn't a dad back like in prehistoric times. I get, to do a
No
comparison, right?
shit. I
We
meant
can't we can't really do a fair comparison, honestly.
no.
But
But
it's
like, so can you? But we can imagine what fatherhood and parents were like in like the 50s and 60s and stuff.
I mean, the dad was always working, right? That's one big
Right.
thing we know about. Dad was always working. Yeah, it may have been like a 9 to 5 or whatever it was, making the income. Mom would stay home or whatnot.
Yeah.
I
And then the
know,
latchkey kids of the 90s and late 80s.
but
I
I mean,
thankfully was not
nowadays,
in that pool, but
no, same. But nowadays, I think things have become more of a balance too, right? Dad isn't just the only one doing the workload or carrying everybody on his back with his own income, which is a nice thing. I do enjoy the fact that I'm not necessarily the only one that has an income, because I don't think I could make it work. It means I would have to find something that's going to pay a lot more so we could make do.
good
Or
luck with that.
yeah, good luck with that. Prices are never going to go down again. But
I would love to have. I feel the opposite. I'd love to be the sole breadwinner, honestly, because I feel like our family would be a lot closer instead of one parent being home at a time, kind of thing.
yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't want, but I still would like to have both parents home, and we still have that, right? It's not like Sam and I never see each other with the kids either. Like, we still get the family time. Um, I mean, from your perspective, you're home majority of the day. And Natalie's home majority of the day too, right? It's just when she works in the evenings, and then
Yeah.
everything kind of falls on you.
Yep.
So I mean, can be fairly difficult. I get that. Like, where Sam and I, right now she's got off. She doesn't. She works. She'll work later, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, she's got off this weekend. So she's got off this weekend, so we can do a lot of things together. But during the time that she does work, she's working, going into work just around dinner time, and working till the early morning. So to me, everything kind of falls on me in the mornings to get everybody ready or whatnot as well. Like, I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't have to worry too much about Kane right now. He's been very, very good about getting up in the morning on his own. Like, even Sam has told me she doesn't have to walk in and tell him to get up. Like,
Nice.
he's been doing very good. It's really weird, because you think as a middle school child, a dad and a mom for a child that's in middle school, you'd have to fight them a little bit to make sure they do get up, right?
Yeah, maybe he senses a sense of responsibility. Have you talked to him
Yes.
about it?
Well, no, that's the thing. It's like, he has been responsible. He knows he has to get up because he likes to bike to school.
Oh, well, yeah. There you go.
So it's like, he's got that sense of responsibility that he has to get up at a reasonable time and get out the door to go to school. But there has been times where he needs to get up because he's wanted me to take him to school or whatnot, or it's been just bad weather and things like that, right? So he's like, okay, Dad, can you take me to grandma's, and then grandma will take me, right? Kind of. But it's just one of those things where he changed from one year, basically, being in fifth grade or being in grade school, to now being in middle school. And it's like, okay, I had to wake him up in fifth grade. I almost had to pull him out of bed sometimes to get him to get up and get dressed. Where in middle school, it's like, yep, I've got my phone, I've got my alarm, I'm good to go.
Nice. That's
So
good though. Proud
it,
daddy
it
moment
is
right
good.
there.
It's a proud daddy moment. It's a sense of um, responsibility on his part, and makes me feel good about that, right? That's the moment right there, the proud daddy moment. But it also means I can, like Sam and I can trust him, not just necessarily have to be like, all right, poke him and get him up either. We can continue to build some trust there. So maturity as well, I would say, a little bit. He's matured a little bit in that respect. So
Yeah.
my little boys are having a little harder time getting up right now. Like Nico, these past few school days has been a little rough, but at the same, it's one of those things. The days I need him to get up, he struggles, right? Monday through Friday, he goes to bed at 8:30 or whatever. Sometimes, this is another proud daddy moment. Nico will go to bed on his own. Like, we'll tell him, all right, here you go. You need to get your pajamas on, go brush your teeth, floss and everything. He'll do that. He'll go to his room and he'll be out in 5 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah. Other times he'll want to stay up. He'll fight it. But it's, a typical child, right? They just
Mm-hmm.
don't, at least now in these days, right? When I was a little younger, when I was younger, before I was a parent, right, I did fight my parents a little bit as I got into like late middle school, early high school, and things of that nature. Um, I feel that's where more of the rebellious stage came in. But as a younger kid, grade school, it wasn't really fighting at all.
Yeah.
I was tired. I needed sleep, so it's one of those things. They do, obviously try to fight it. That being said, life now is still a hell of a lot different. I know, Jared, you said you'd rather be the sole bread breadwinner. I mean, I'm not the breadwinner by any means. Maybe be slightly uneasy for me in that respect, but at the same time, we still have that dual income, which is always nice. Um, it, I think it helps play a little bit more. Just
Yeah.
and by play, I mean gives us a little bit more to do some freedom. Now, granted, if you were a sole breadwinner or whatnot, and you were making a decent enough money anyways, you could still do it too, right? Have a little bit more free time or fun time,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how you budget your expenses and everything. But I certainly do love being a dad in this, in these modern times, knowing that the kids still rely on me, sharing more of, I mean, the amount of responsibility shared is always going to change from day to day, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's not that ideal 50-50 split by any means. One day it could be 80-20, next day it could be 100% one person, 0% the other. Is it necessarily fair? I don't know. Sometimes as a dad, to me, sometimes it's felt like it's been more of like everything's fallen on me. But as of recent, and this is very apparent to me as well, um, Sam does a lot as well. And I say she does a lot because on the days that she, like, her job now, or her time, her shifts allow her to do a lot of the things during the day, right? So I don't,
Mm-hmm.
for those of you who are parents or have worked or work in retail, you notice how people are coming into your stores or whatnot during the day, and you're like, aren't you supposed to be at work? I know that thought has crossed my mind multiple times. Like, why are you here with your kid? Shouldn't you be at work? But, you know, you think of it this way then too. Sam, she works, yes, but she works during the nights,
Yeah.
right? So maybe those parents or moms or dads or whoever, they work, but they work second shift, or maybe they don't work. Maybe they are the ones that have that luxury to be the stay-at-home parent. I mean, would it be cool to be able to do that? Sure. Like, at one point, Sam and I talked about it, but it's just not ideal for us either. Like, she's like, yeah, you could be the stay-at-home parent. It would be great. I mean, shit would get done around the house. Not saying, not saying she doesn't do shit around the house. Just, I know then at this point that I would be able to do a lot of stuff around the house too. Like when the kids are at school, I could clean the house, kind of keep it immaculate at that point.
Yeah.
Because it drives me nuts when my house is not clean. Even
Same.
though even though we have children and we know the children are going to make it a mess, it still drives me nuts.
Yeah, and
So,
I saw this post recently that I kind of wanted to share on Facebook or whatever, maybe even talk about it on my channel. But it's okay for things to be out of place or messy when you're spending time with your kids and you're doing the essentials, and things don't have to be spotless as long as you're being an active, dedicated parent to your child and actually spending time with them. Like,
mm-hmm.
for example, I could spend my night cleaning nonstop until they go to bed, but I don't want to be just the dad that's running around and them on their devices or TV or whatever, and me ignoring them.
Yeah.
I want to spend time with them. What do you think about that?
No, I agree with it. It's again, it's all about the engagement too, right?
Yeah,
Um, and now I know there are like we like to make sure the kids do have some sense of responsibility around the house, so like
yeah,
doing chores, but that's not really you and them engaging together.
no,
That's you guys are doing cleaning, and I had this one thing that came up the other day. My son Arlo, he's like, uh, why do you guys? I feel like you guys control everything. Like you control me. I'm like, a 7-year-old said he feels like we control him. I'm like, buddy, we don't really control you. I feel like mom and I have given you a good amount of freedom. We just ask that you help clean up, help take care of the
we're
house.
here to guide you, to show you
Yeah,
how to be a good person and a decent adult. That's
how
that would
we're
that would have been my answer.
that's how I did answer it that way too. I'm like, we don't really control you. We're here to guide you, help you understand some responsibility. That way, you're not like other people out there that have no sense of responsibility, no sense of accountability either.
Right.
Still teaching them the essentials, especially at such an age. But it was just kind of surprising that he thought that he is being controlled by us. But I also told him, I'm like, truthfully, you have a lot more freedom than a lot of other kids might. And I tried to bring it into or perspective like this. My parents, they gave me freedom. His grandparents, they gave me freedom when I was a kid. There is some parents that he may see as more controlling at this point. I'm like, what if dad all of a sudden said, okay, you only get 1 hour of video games a day?
Yeah.
That's more controlling than what he has now. Like once that 1 hour is up, electronics are gone and you're doing something else. Yeah, needless to say, we know he doesn't like that. But at the same time, he also is still very good about doing other things. He's not like 100% reliant on electronics. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm back.
Yep.
Something happened. Something happened. I must have accidentally tugged on my cord. But overall, yeah, I would say that everything is just different. To that aspect, it's like how how do you how do I compare to what it's like? I can't. But knowing that we're still busy, but it's still making time. I mean, have you ever felt this though, where there's just not enough time in the day? Have you ever felt like
Oh,
you
hell
had a
yeah.
time constraint?
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. I like at the end of the night, I feel like I have so much more I need to accomplish, but I'm tired. It's 9:30, 10:30, whatever, and I can't make a hell of a lot of noise because I live in a small house that the kids will wake up and I don't want to disturb their sleep.
Right.
So I'm kind of just like, okay, well, I'm going to relax now because I can't really do anything else. Otherwise, I'll wake them up.
I feel like my time management is still piss poor as a dad, just because I feel like, I work, come home, I'm usually the one doing dinner or making dinner. So that's taking a little bit of time.
Yep.
And I feel like I feel like when I do things, time just like escapes,
Mm-hmm.
right? You look at the clock and go, okay, it's 5 o'clock. All of a sudden, you look at it again. It's like, holy shit, it's already 5:30. It's like, what's going on? So I feel like my time management is still shitty. And then all of a sudden, for example, Arlo on Mondays has tumbling at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I get home from work for about 4:15 or whatever, maybe a little earlier, depending on how good the day goes or how bad it goes. I come home, hour an hour rolls by. It's 5:30. Arlo's supposed to be getting ready so we can head out the door and get him there in
Mm-hmm.
time. Takes about 10 minutes to get to his tumbling area. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we might wait a little bit just as other classes are finishing up and whatnot. But now all of a sudden, I'm sitting in a gymnastics center for an hour while he's doing his thing, which is fine, right? That hour of him doing something that's going to keep him out of the house, away from electronics and everything. But now all of a sudden I'm down 1 hour and children still have yet to eat and things like that. Now I'm trying to rush to get them fed before they go to bed at 8:30.
Yeah.
So it's like time management is all over the place. I sometimes feel like I don't have, again, enough time in a day, in a 24-hour period to do anything.
Same. Like there'll be days that I don't shower. Like I think my record is like maybe 5 or 4 days that I haven't showered because I have no time to fucking do it. Yeah. Like in the mornings that I don't take time for myself and get ready for the day, I'm doing something else. Folding laundry, starting a load, getting out of the dryer, doing dishes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I did that the other week. I was doing laundry. I had like 7 or 8 baskets to go through.
Oh God. Yeah.
And the only time I could get them done was, as selfish as it sounds, I put Allie down for a nap, and then I started doing laundry, folding like crazy.
Selfish. You have to get it done.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like, sometimes people can view it as selfish, but I had the other two boys, or I had the two middle boys around, and they wanted to play on the Xbox, which I was watching TV on the Xbox in my room and whatnot because I needed to get laundry done. And they all of a sudden wanted to play up there. I'm like, no, you cannot. I am watching my thing. You guys can play downstairs if you want. But that's where I'm saying I was a little selfish. It's like I could have tried to engage with them, but I'm like, I need to get this done. And if once Allie wakes up, laundry time is over because now I've got that young child again that relies on me, as you mentioned, the one that can't necessarily be independent or fully independent yet. So it's also, I'd say it's also a very hard mix too. If you're a dad in this time of age and you have multiple kids, I think it can be very difficult. And when I say multiple kids, I'm talking like you've got a 12-year-old, then you've got a 5-year gap, and then you've got a 2-year gap, and then you've got practically a 3-4 year gap. So if you have something like that where you have big gaps between ages of your children, it can be very difficult to try to balance everything. Yeah. Now, if you're able to have like children that are very, very close in age, such as Arlo and Nico, and those are like your only two, well, kudos to you. Or if any time you have somebody that's close in age, like let's say you had 2 children that are under the age of 2, well, you're still in for a rough ride because they're still very, very dependent on you. But at the same time, at least you can get them somewhat on the same cycle, same routine, and make it a little easier for yourself.
Yeah.
But Jared, what do you got? Any other thoughts that you want to share or talk about, point wise?
No, I mean, I'd like to just close on, if you're like me and you're worrying while your kids are at school to make sure that they're safe, you're not alone. I do that quite often. And that's another reason why being a parent in these modern ages with all these horrific things going on in the United States, you're not alone. Just try to do the best you can with trusting your school, as crazy as it may sound. Just, I'm there with you.
I think our school system needs to do a better job of educating kids on what to do. I think a lot of things that can happen that can be prevented are based on the education of children. Children that are doing stupid stuff, such as the violence or mass shootings. It's because they're poorly educated. And in a way, right? I also think that it's a lack of responsibility on the parents if they're getting the guns from mom and dad or whatnot. I don't know where.
Yeah.
I don't know where a young kid is really going to find a gun.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen a lot of strong, supportive parents behind these.
No, you're never going to see strong support. But the
True.
point being is all of a sudden, kid knows where to find mom or dad's gun lock, find the key, and bam, access. Parents, I think, need to take responsibility and be like, yeah, I fucked up. I didn't. Just keep the key on you. I'd say
Yeah.
keep the key on you at all times, or change up the location of your gun lock if you have just a handgun or something. Like, I know if you have a gun cabinet for like all your other like rifles and such, it's harder to carry a rifle around or like a gun cabinet around like that, or move it from time to time. Just make sure you keep the key on you. Keep your guns locked. I feel like that's what a lot of kids are relying on is unlocked cases, or they know where your key is. I also think providing them proper education, or seeing some red flags there too before anything really escalates out of control. Knowing that, just remind children that resources are out there for help rather than taking drastic measures like such. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, my son, he got into a little thing over a weekend when he went to a dance. He went to a homecoming dance for his middle school, and a kid had slapped him.
Oh boy. Okay.
Don't necessarily know the full story. I just know that they kind of got into a little disgruntlement, and the principal of the school said they were going to do something on Monday, like that Monday after everything. I'm like, no, that's not how that should be working. You're at a sanctioned school event, and there is trouble happening on the premises. You need to do something about it now.
Right.
Not wait till after the weekend and be like, reprimand the student. You need to do it now. Kick the student out or whatnot. Like, I think back in our days, we would have been kicked out.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, yep, you're done. Sorry, I don't care if you bought a ticket. You're gone. Call your parents. Have them come pick you up. You're gone. It's different nowadays. Definitely different. But yeah, you have a right to be concerned. We all have a right to be concerned about schooling, or what goes on in schools. But yes, just try to trust your school system a little bit, or your school body. I won't say like student body or anything, but like the staff, the teachers. They're going to do what they can to certainly help keep the kids safe.
Yeah.
So other than that, I mean, times change. Schools can be harder to manage sometimes. I think honestly, student or staff are starting to slowly lose power as kids are starting to feel more entitled. So, and that, I think that's another problem, but that's a problem we can tackle another point.
Sounds good.
So, anything else, Jared? I mean, I just want to shout out again to Jared and his Unlocking Jarred Potential YouTube site and channel. He's doing a great job out there. Watch his videos for inspiration. If you need any help with your future endeavors or whatnot, or motivations, go watch Unlocking Jarred Potential. He's got some good videos out there, folks. Good, just self improvement, self inspiration.
Yep.
You knock it dead.
Thank you.
So.
Yep. Least Dad's podcast. We lost your